My name is Chip Shore. I'm the clerk of circuit court and comptroller, and this has been my home for some 30 plus odd years. So I feel real pleased in being here to help you guys and to announce this. You know, this is an absolute dream come true for me. A few years ago, while the interior and exterior improvements were being made to this beautiful building, and I think you all can remember when it looked more like a bumblebee than it did a courthouse. Anyway, my daughter Cindy and I were visiting out here one day, and I was trying to figure out if there was anything we could do to the lawn to make it historical like the building was. And she suggested to me that we could restore the grounds, make them Florida friendly and historically accurate, and save a lot of water and all of that type of thing, and a lot of picking up grasses and mowing and everything. And I thought it was a really good idea. So Cindy and a couple of her friends started drawing the plans, you know, and after she got done with that, we turned to some of the experts in it and to the county with Ed Hunziker and Charlie Bishop and Tom Yarger and that group. And from there, actually, the dream was born. The basics of the grounds is it's a botanical gardens that showcases that showcases the history and dedication of our local heroes and citizens. We also came to the thought that most of the people that come to the courthouse have no idea what a botanical gardens is, and this might give them, if they read the signs on each one of the planting areas, give them an idea of what old Florida was like with the different areas that are native to Florida. We wanted also to show the proper respect to our veterans, our fallen law enforcement officers, and our distinguished citizens that all used to be out here in the front, and we moved it over to the sides, and it's become a memorial plaza. And we hope everybody will get a chance to go over there and take a look at it when we finish. We hope that our visitors feel welcome to linger and learn about Manatee County and its history and what makes it great. And with the placement of the interpretive language signs, we figure the visitors can learn something while they're here. We wouldn't be here today without the support of our local leaders in the county and in the city of Bradenton, and the extraordinary talents and efforts of a team of professionals who embraced our shared vision. Thank you to Ross Russo, Shane Ham with Swift & Company, who gave their best for this project, Jerry Zoller and Darren Autry with Zoller Autry Architects, and to Frank Monhart of Pyramid 3, who really kept us on track. Now, the head of the Manatee County's Historical Resources and an author in her own right, Kathy Slusser, is to bring some local history to life. After she finishes, please direct your attention to the chairman of the Manatee County Commission, Larry Bussell, who will be followed by the mayor of the city of Bradenton, Wayne Poston, said Major Williams with the Manatee County Sheriff's Department, and don't forget, when this is over at 10:30, will be the FOP vigil over with their memorial, who will be followed by then Don Courtney with Manatee County Veterans Council, and at last but not least, Dan West with the Manatee County Fair Manager. And now, Kathy.
Thank you, Mr. Shore. I'm excited to be here today because while we're celebrating the newly landscaped historic courthouse and all this building and grounds hold for our community in the future, we also want to take a look back at what it's meant to us in the past. In 1912, the year after a vote was taken to remove the wandering cows from downtown Bradenton that grazed on the courthouse lawn and climbed the steps to the courthouse porch, county commissioners began planning a new courthouse and jail south of Manatee Avenue in downtown Bradenton. Prior to that time, there was a wood-frame courthouse built in 1894. It was located on the northwest side of the property near where the large gumbo limbo tree is today. That courthouse was very Victorian with towering spires and a wraparound porch. My favorite picture of the wooden courthouse shows a man sitting on the front porch in a chair that is tipped back against the wall. His hat is pulled down over his face. He's taking a nap, I suppose. Don't all of us wish we lived in the day where we could take a nap at work? That courthouse was insufficient to meet the needs of the growing county, as the jail, a wooden building described by the Manatee River Journal as an inefficient and unsightly structure, which now occupies one of the prominent corners of the public square. The newspaper noted that frequent jailbreaks occurred from that dilapidated building. Manatee County and Bradenton were on the cusp of a land boom. With land prices rising and many new residents moving into Florida, county commissioners felt it was important to build a new and modern home for the county seat. The new courthouse would join several other newly constructed brick buildings, changing the face of downtown Bradenton, such as the Singletary Cummings building, which is to our west. Once the Board of County Commission made up their minds to move forward with the new courthouse, it did not take them long to get started. The notice of intent to build was published in the Bradenton Herald for 30 days, beginning on Friday, May the 24th, 1912. Proposals were to be submitted by June 15th, 1912, and on June 22nd, the board was ready to review them. On July 6th, the board voted to levy taxes of 5 mills per year for 5 years to pay for the courthouse, and despite a petition by 75 citizens to move the courthouse closer to the dividing line between the town of Manatee and Bradenton, they voted to keep it on the site of the existing courthouse. 2 days later, they hired J.L. McCucken and C.J. Heyer of McCucken and Heyer Construction of Tampa, Florida, to design the building. It was agreed to pay them 2.5% of the price of the building construction once the building contract had been signed, and they were given 30 days to complete the plans. Upon receiving the completed plans, the board set a deadline of October 7th, 1912 to accept bids for construction. Despite an injunction filed to prevent construction of the courthouse based upon complaints that the plans were inadequate and lacking proper form, the board continued to review construction bids. When the injunction was rejected by the court, George Langford of Falls City Construction of Louisville, Kentucky, was awarded the contract for a price of $97,445. In December of 1912, Falls City Construction began work on the first reinforced concrete construction in the county, which would house a basement, courtroom, offices, and a jail. The building was dedicated and opened to the public in February of 1914. The new courthouse would only be sufficient for the county's needs for a little over a decade. On June 11, 1925, the Board of County Commission voted to repair and add an addition to the courthouse. Construction began in 1926 and consisted of removing the wooden dome from the roof, which was deemed to be a fire hazard, but they also thought it was too provincial for an up-and-coming town. They built an addition to the south of the existing courthouse that added more offices, jails, and a new roof. Construction was completed and accepted by the Board of County Commission on November 7, 1927. 3.5 decades later, and after complaints about courthouse disrepair and talk of moving the courthouse out of Bradenton, it was agreed in 1965 to conduct courthouse repairs and place a third addition to the courthouse. The work included an addition to the roof, installation of modern windows, repairs to wiring and elevators, and a T-shaped addition placed on the south side of the building along 6th Avenue West. Now, 102 years after its original construction, we celebrate the newly restored historic courthouse, which sits like a jewel in this beautiful setting that is reminiscent of the landscape that would have been in Manatee County at its time of original construction. The only difference? We no longer need a fence around the lawn to protect the landscaping from the cows.
Today marks the culmination of a 3-year exterior renovation that returns this historic landmark to its original beauty and splendor. Many of you will remember the black and yellow skirt that was surrounding the building throughout much of 2011 and 12, while the courthouse itself was giving a facelift. That project brought exterior renovations to the building, including a new roof, energy-efficient windows, a new parapet, and a cornice. Because of those smart renovations, our annual energy costs at the courthouse have been slashed more than 50%. Today, we celebrate the incredible landscaping improvements around the campus. These landscaping improvements make it that much easier to envision the grand building as it existed and appeared originally constructed more than 100 years ago. This community's makeup and character has changed much since that time, but I'd like to think our hospitality and charm have only improved. So on behalf of my colleagues on the Board of County Commissioners and of county government, congratulations not only to Mr. Shore and the great team that worked on this project, but to all Manatee County residents who do business here. It's an honor and a privilege to be a part of such a special day. I hope this grand old courthouse continues to be treasured by the coming generations of Manatee County residents for the next 100 years and beyond. Now, Mayor Poston.
Morning, everyone. Welcome. I can't say enough about how proud I am for the city of Bradenton and the citizens of Bradenton in getting all of this done. And Chip, you've just done a marvelous job. You were just single-minded and got this done when people didn't think you were going to. What I like in government officials is people who are fearless, and Chip, you were good on that one. Nice job.
Thank you.
You know, this is really the downtown community center. And with all these renovations, it makes it even better. Realize Bradenton, we're having concerts here, people are gathering, and it's been that way in the Friendly City for years. My wife, Mickey, as many of you know, grew up on Anna Maria. Before public transportation, her mom had a station wagon and then a van, and she drove people from the island, stopped right here. The people got out and they went into the courthouse where a blind woman was serving food. And this woman folded the dollar bills in one way, she folded the $5 bills in another way, and the $10 bills in another way. In those days, no one had $20 bills, so she didn't need to worry about that part. But they would buy food, then Pat would get back in the van and go back to the island and take people down. When she went back to the island, oftentimes Dennis would come down and hand her false teeth that people needed on the island and pick up the repair jobs that she brought back in from the island. The Western Union was right across the street, so she would pick up telegrams that were going to people on the island and drop off ones that they wanted done by Western Union. Bell's department store started right over there, right on the court. The Woolworth store was right next door, and all the businessmen from Manatee River National Bank to W.E. Page from the Bradenton Herald, it was on 401 13th Street. They would stop there in the afternoon and have ice cream at 2 o'clock. You can count them just like the clockwork. This is bringing back that community center that we've always had in Bradenton, and we're very, very proud of this, and we hope everyone enjoys it as much as we do in the city of Bradenton. Thank you.
On behalf of the Fraternal Order Police and all the law enforcement in this community, we would like to thank Mr. Shore for his vision on reorganize our memorial, which is a very beautiful site. You get a chance for our memorial start at 10:30. But his vision assisted us in gaining a better environment for our law enforcement memorial. So I'd like to thank him for that. And we are grateful. And we thank Mr. Shore for all he's done. Thank you.
I'm Don Courtney, Chairman of the Manatee County Veterans Council, and I'd like to tell Mr. Shore what a great job he's done bringing the courthouse grounds back to the old Florida feeling that fits the exterior of the courthouse. When Mr. Shore started this project, he invited myself and the chaplain from the Sheriff's Department to a meeting, and we discussed moving the police and Vietnam memorials to the side of the courthouse by the Justice Center. It sounded like a good idea at the time, but as I thought about it later, I called him next day and asked him if we couldn't move the Vietnam Memorial over to Veterans Park, and he agreed. So on this Memorial Day, May 26th, we will dedicate the monument to all Vietnam veterans. The over 40,000 veterans in Manatee County would like to thank Mr. Shore for letting us move the monument and to let him know that we'll take very good care of it. Again, Mr. Shore, you did a great job with the courthouse grounds.
Good morning. My name is Daniel West, and I'm with the Manatee River Fair Association. On behalf of the Manatee River Fair Association, we would like to thank the Manatee County Clerk of the Court's Office, Mr. Shore, and Manatee County for this occasion to commemorate the revitalized historic Manatee County Courthouse and its grounds, where numerous memorials stand as a reminder of the outstanding and patriotic citizens that have come before us and have made great sacrifices to make Manatee County a great place to live and one we all cherish today. Every year since 1956, the Manatee River Fair Association and Manatee County have sponsored the Distinguished Citizen Award to deserving citizens that have made an indelible impact on the quality of life in our community. Recipients of this award have come from all walks of life, including school teachers, doctors, businessmen and women, farmers, ranchers, elected officials, coaches, and housewives. All of these folks whose footprints before us today in cast in cement had a vision of a quality of life they wanted for the coming generations. We and future generations are the beneficiaries of their countless hours of hard work and dedication. As we traverse the courthouse square today, we can see all 63 names in their footprints. These footprints represent their good works and ideals which they have left behind for us to build on. We should take great pride and draw strength from them as we move into the future, hoping and praying for that same vision that these distinguished citizens had will continue through all of us and to our children. Every monument on the courthouse square is one that was left behind for us to build on. It is up to us to continue their legacy. Thank you very much.
The Manatee County Historical Courthouse and its grounds are the gem of downtown Bradenton, I think you heard Mayor Poston say, in which we can all take pride now and decades into the future. Now, instead of a ribbon cutting, we decided to do something a little bit different. We're going to present to you, what is it, Manatee? Keep Manatee Beautiful has given us a tree that we don't have here. It's a tree shrub. And we thought the best thing we could do, instead of cutting a ribbon and opening the park, was put in this Manatee County native, which is both a tree and a shrub. It grows about 8 or 10 feet high. It's called a Simpson stopper or twinberry. It's a shrub tree that makes everybody happy, with flowers that attract butterflies, fruit that birds enjoy, and best of all, the ease of care that homeowners, and especially our Parks and Recreational Department, love about this South Florida native plant. It's directly behind me. You can see it right there. Please take a chance to visit it. I thank you all for joining us today. We now declare the park open. Don't forget, Realize Bradenton's Courthouse concerts start at 11:30 the next 2 weeks, and Johnette Isom, who is right here with her hands up, has been a huge help and partner of this, as you can tell from the back page. And at 11:30, or at 10:30, is the Fraternal Order of Police Law Enforcement Memorial Remembrance. I go every year and I find it absolutely beautiful, and Major Williams is the reason for it. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. The ribbon is cut, so to speak. The plant is planted, and I guess I better say one other thing. The really beautiful woman out here in the blue dress is my wife, Carol. That will keep me out of trouble for at least a week. Thank you guys, really appreciate it. Thanks for coming. I've always loved history, and when I first came into the office, one of the first things I did was ask the Board of County Commissioners to let me take over the historical parks, which they did. So I hired Kathy Slusser, who has been absolutely wonderful and has written a book, and there's another one coming out that she's written on Manatee County history. And we've opened up a number of parks, the Manatee Historical Village, the Palmetto Historical Park, the Courthouse fisheries with fish, and the schoolhouse out there, and the Maritime Museum. The Maritime Museum is the newest one, so if everybody gets a chance, please stop out there. I think they're going to see something really wonderful. But to me, without history and without a background in at least what's going on in our community, you don't get the full flavor of what Bradenton is. And I was born, believe it or not, 3 blocks from where we sit. So I didn't get very far in life, but I've loved every second of it. We planned it to be the gem of downtown Bradenton, as Mayor Poston is always saying, and I think it will be. It's the middle between the city and the waterfront and the Village of the Arts, and I think it's just going to be gorgeous because we can move from here down the rest of the way on Main Street to the Village of the Arts. We have a historical courtroom, which is the largest courtroom in Manatee County, and it's laid barren for, I guess, now 7, 8, 10 years since the Judicial Center opened. If you ever get a chance, walk up there. It's on the 2nd floor on the north end, and right now all the construction work that's going on the 2nd, they're using this as a storage area. But as soon as they're finished, we want to work on getting that restored. On June the 6th, we're going over to Arcadia to look at their historical courtroom, which was actually built by the same builders and architects that did this one. So I'm really excited about that. If we can get that done in the next year, I will be very, very happy. But it's almost a sacred spot when you walk in there. Well, historical things, not just this building and not just the parks, but the Manatee River, the Braden River, Anna Maria Island, and Cortez, all of these places are historical. And to me, the people, it gives them something to hold on to. They know it's theirs, they know, and if they know the history of it, they can have that same feeling that I do, even being born here.